when it comes to dental implant treatment, choosing the right provider is so important for your success. So did you know that periodontists specialize in the placement of dental implants? Board certified periodontist Dr. Richard Aguila of Jacksonville Dental Specialist is here to talk about this specialty and what hybrid certification means to having such a successful outcome. And you are hybrid certified, so we're going to talk a little bit about that but first let's talk a little bit about when folks who would be the right candidate to be considering this type of treatment?
Okay, the types of patients are patients that are missing one tooth, multiple teeth, and all their teeth. And when it comes down to choosing a provider, with the advancements in implant dentistry, more and more general dentists are placing and restoring implants.
So general dentists.
Yes.
But we're talking about also finding someone who really specializes
Correct.
in this.
So with dental implants, most of the times general dentists, they take a weekend course or they take a course provided by one of the dental suppliers. But when it comes to actual formal training in implant dentistry, you typically, it typically involves either a periodontist, prosthodontist, and oral surgeon. In our practice, we have a periodontist, myself, and a prosthodontist, Dr. Naraki. So we have 3 to 4 years of additional training. And the nice thing is, with our training and experience, we can help avoid complications. And oftentimes we're treating many of the complications from general dentists who are placing implants. So what I advise for patients is do your due diligence, know your provider, know the experience level of the provider. It's better to see a provider who's done, you know, hundreds or thousands in our lifetime, or hundreds a year, versus someone who does this on a little bit.
Well, I mentioned it right before the interview that this could impact your success rate. And it didn't even occur to me that, you know, okay, you get it and it's done, but you could have some failures. And it's really important that once you go and have this intricate procedure, that now you're not having to come back and again and again and again because stuff is going wrong.
Right. So dental implants are very successful, and they're probably one of the more successful things that we do in dentistry. You know, across the board, success rates, typically 95% above after 10 years. And if you look at success rates of specialists versus general dentists, there's a significant difference there. So some things that are making implant dentistry successful is the cone beam technology, knowing the anatomy ahead of time. So it's a 3D X-ray. It looks at the bone. It allows us to look at any anatomical structures that we need to avoid. And there's also planning software as well. You know, we use a planning software where we can plan the implant case ahead of time, know exactly what size implant, what type implant, what angle the implant needs to be placed. So we can almost do, you know, the surgery virtually before we actually perform the procedure. So these things have really contributed to that high success rates, and with the advancements in technology, it will probably only get better.
Now, does this come along with being hybrid certified? Is that why you know about all of this technology and all of this process?
Right.
Because that's part of the certification? And what difference does it make being certified versus someone who is a general dentist?
Yes, so being hybrid certified means that you have a vast experience in implant dentistry and vast training. Hybrid certified doctors are typically, you know, specialists, periodontists, prosthodontists, oral surgeons, and then highly experienced, highly trained general dentists. So you don't have to worry about the experience of the dentist. Also, we have surgical protocols, restorative protocols that have been time tested, that have been successful in thousands of patients. So you can have peace of mind that when you undergo treatment with a hybrid certified doctor, you have a high degree of success with your treatment.
Now, some folks have lost maybe 1 or 2 teeth. Some need almost their whole mouth replaced. Is there a window of time that you need to get in quickly to make sure that it is more successful?
That's a very good question. And just some background information. Typically when a tooth is lost, we have shrinkage or atrophy of the bone, okay? And if it goes unchecked, it expediates and it gets faster, especially if you're wearing a prosthesis, a denture. So general rule of thumb, the sooner the better. Whenever you have a tooth removed, it's oftentimes recommended to have a bone graft done, where a bone is placed into where the tooth is removed to help preserve or build up the bone. This, allows us to be very successful of either subsequently placing the implant at a later date or sometimes we actually place the implant at the time of extraction. So when that's done, it's very important that you see a specialist because it's something that we do on a daily basis.
So it sounds like every case is unique and different for the most part. So
Correct.
if folks have a particular situation that they want to find out some more information, can they just call your office? Or I know that from time to time you have these seminars.
Yes.
What would you recommend?
Either way is fine. If you just want general information, a good way is actually to attend our monthly seminar. We just had one last week and it was packed. There was a ton of people. They're very interested in implants and what their options are. Our next one is not until August 15th. Just call our office. You get to learn about implants, you get to learn about your options, you get to meet the staff, meet the doctors, and then from that seminar you're granted a complimentary consultation as well.
Great. All right. Thanks so much for being here and walking us through that. It really does change lives. I mean, you've shared that people come in and their whole personality comes out once they get some new teeth. All right. We're going to thank Jacksonville Dental Specialist for sponsoring this segment. And for more information, you can visit jacksonvillehighbridge.com and you can give them a call at 904-584-3867. All right. Well,